Hey everyone, welcome back. I am doing a tarot reading for the 5 love languages, and this next love language that I am doing is acts of service. I've already pulled my 6 cards for this spread, and I will go through each of the questions as I progress through the reading. So, as we know, acts of service people are very practical, very grounded people, and I pulled a lot of pentacles for this reading. So I think it's very fitting, and we'll see how this goes. So the first card is the card to represent the way that I receive love. So this is, again, for those of you who have the acts of service love language. And the first card I pulled, 6 of Pentacles. And so with the 6 of Pentacles, that's a love language of groundedness, of creativity, with physical things. So acts of service as a love language can really be about practicality in the home, practicality at work, and just practicality in everyday life. So I think this is kind of an interesting way of explaining the love language as a tarot card. So again, like juggling a lot of things, like really kind of creating something that is important. And I mean, acts of service can be a creative endeavor. So it could be working on something that is an act of service to yourself. It could be an act of service for other people. So it really depends on how you view your love language. Next is how understanding my love language will help me. We have the Queen of Pentacles. This person is very grounded. This person is very practical. Again, like I have said. And so with the Queen of Pentacles, she knows what she wants. She is very good at balancing herself and regulating her needs, especially when it comes to others. Next is the Ace of Cups for how to work with my love language to improve my relationships. So, like I said, acts of service people are very practical, very physically oriented, and to work with a love language using the Ace of Cups for someone who is very grounded is kind of a bit of a challenge. I think that acts of service is kind of a more like a trickier kind of love language to appreciate than others, because it's just so practical, and I think that a lot of people don't understand the practicality of the people who have these acts of service as a love language. So Ace of Cups is very apt because it really goes into your emotions. It really allows you to look inward and to actually also to look outward as well. So kind of a duality here. So looking inward to see what your love language is and how you can compare it to other people who may not be as practically minded, and create sort of this bridge, to create a bridge and allow that kind of like bridge and string to really kind of connect you and your partner. Next is what I need to be conscious of in relationships with others. We have the Hanged Man. It's important to remember that you're in a relationship because you want to be in a relationship. Hopefully. I mean, if you're in a relationship because you feel threatened or whatever, then that's an entirely different story. But this is for two consenting adults who are in a relationship because they want to be in a relationship. It's important to remember that other people may have different love languages than you. And it's kind of interesting because for me, my love language is different than acts of service. Mine is quality time. So I think it's a little bit hard for me to understand the acts of service love language just because it's not mine. And I can understand that it's important for other people to have sort of practical things taken care of first before anything else gets done. But in terms of how to be conscious of certain things with your relationship to others, in terms of your acts of service love language, then the Hanged Man is here to remind you that you're in this relationship because you want to be in this relationship. And that's important because it's taking on a different perspective. You're really kind of putting yourself in your partner's shoes and seeing that, oh, maybe their love language is a little different than mine, and I can really work with that. The next one, something I can do better to express my wants and needs, is the Ace of Pentacles. This is creating something together, not necessarily by yourself, but doing something together, really starting new, and maybe doing things together that you wouldn't necessarily do separately, but you can do things together. It's a way of being creative. And last, we have how I can be more open to receiving love. We have the High Priestess. And for some people who are very practically minded, again, the acts of service, this can be a little bit difficult because the High Priestess here is really all about really trusting your intuition, trusting the intuition of others, and allowing yourself that space to be more open to receiving love. And again, the High Priestess is very loving and intuitive and creative in her own right. And I really think that with trusting your intuition in terms of your love language and your partner, it's important to receive love that way through your intuition. So now I'm going to pull a couple cards from my Woodland Wardens Oracle deck. And we'll see how this sums up this love language, acts of service. Oh, interesting. So we have the Wolf and Rose Hip, and that's about guardianship. So acts of service is kind of a way of being a guardian, of practicality. It's a way of really kind of being at a crossroads with yourself and with someone who is maybe not as practically minded. And the Bobcat and Blackthorn, it's also about patience. patience with yourself, patience with your partner, really creating something that allows for space for another love language in your partner if they have a different love language than you. Yeah, and the porcupine and anemone, and that's about boundaries. It's creating these, what did I say? It's creating boundaries. Like it was supposed to be a slip. I meant boundary and bridge. I got those confused a little earlier. But it's creating boundaries, but healthy boundaries. Being practical, not being overly needy, but also not being overly practical at the same time. I was in a relationship with someone who was overly practical, and that did not really work out because I am more of a quality time person. But boundaries are good. Healthy boundaries are good. If you need time alone because your love languages don't vibe, then that's fine too. Creating boundaries because they're different is okay. So, I hope that helps with some of you who have the acts of service love language, and I will do the other soon. Have a good one, everyone.